And for more on stemming the fourth wave of the virus, joining us right now, Professor Miriam Aminu, a virologist lecturer at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. She joins us virtually for more. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
First, what's your view of the variant of concern, Omicron, and how it's driving hospitalizations across the world?
With the Omicron, we can see that in the last few weeks, hospitalization has increased by almost more than 50% compared to the last few weeks. But the infection is milder and there are no much fatalities with Omicron. It is milder, no much fatality, but it is spreading very, very, very fast. So many people are infected. And as you see in UK now, in Canada, in Japan, in Russia, we've had over 1 million cases in Russia and Japan. But because in Russia, there are only 50% of the population that are vaccinated, we saw only today about 1,000 deaths due to Omicron COVID-19. So the variant is spreading very, very fast compared to other variants, but it is milder and it is less dangerous compared to the Delta strain.
So, Professor Aminu, if we're having that due to the Omicron variant, I mean, here in Nigeria, we're perhaps still seeing less cases compared to other parts, but are we prepared for a further rise in cases? And we're talking about the surge. Do we have capacity to deal with very sick patients?
Well, for Omicron, most cases are not severe. I can tell you that majority of the cases you see today in Nigeria that are saying they have sore throat, they have fever, they have cold, it is Omicron. Majority of individuals have been infected, but it is mild and it is asymptomatic. It's not very, very severe. But in the next few weeks, we cannot say what is going to happen. But I can tell you that Omicron is with us. I can use myself as an example. I have been infected before in November. And then it was very, very severe for me. I could not get out of the bed for 1 week. But in December 17, I started having some sore throat and fever. So I requested for a test. It turned out that it was COVID-19, but the detection rate was very, very low. It's because I was vaccinated. That is why I had less severe infection. I am sure majority of Nigerians have been infected with Omicron virus, but it is less severe and it is mild. So I'm sure we have the capacity to deal with it. It may not lead to serious hospitalization because 4.9% of Nigerians have been vaccinated, even though we have not gotten over to up to 50%. The case may not be as serious as expected. So Omicron is with us. Many people have been infected, including myself. I'm just recovering from Omicron.
Thank you for talking to us about your experience. But looking at, you said you've been vaccinated. Are we talking about the full vaccination, the complete 2 doses, or the extra booster that, is set to fight against contracting Omicron?
Well, booster is very, very important because the vaccine were produced a long time ago, and they were produced against the variants that were circulating at that time. Now we have Omicron due to continuous spread of the virus because we let down our guard. The virus continued to spread, and then the virus mutated, and we have this Omicron. Any virus Omicron, it has over 50 mutations. Any virus that has been mutated become more infectious and contagious, but it is more resistant to the vaccine. I took my first dose of the vaccine in March 2020, and I took the second dose in June. That's AstraZeneca. I've not taken the booster dose, but I was infected, but it was very, very mild. Why I'm saying this, I want people to know, is that the vaccine, we are not saying the vaccines will not stop infection, but it will reduce the severity and hospitalization. I was not hospitalized. I was going about doing my activities, but it was mild because I was vaccinated. So I'm telling Nigerians that the vaccine will not stop reinfection, but it will stop hospitalization and severity of the infection. That is what we are saying. So people should get vaccinated. I have a data here before me. CDC just released it. Amongst unvaccinated individuals, 451 cases occur per 100,000 cases. Among vaccinated individuals, 134 cases occur in 100,000 cases. When you take the booster, so we are advocating for booster, it's only 48 cases that occur in 100,000 cases. And let's look at the deaths. In unvaccinated individuals, 6.1 deaths occur in 100,000 cases. Those that are vaccinated, is only 0.5 deaths that occur in 100,000 cases. For booster cases, 0.5 deaths. So it will be our call if we want to get vaccinated or not, because it's very, very important that if you are vaccinated, and it will not stop reinfection, it will only stop the severity of the infection and hospitalization. It is important we get the booster dose, and that is what I'm going to get next if I've fully recovered.
All right, we really wish you all the best, indeed, considering what you've just experienced. But then, the advice there for people to indeed go and get vaccinated. But a lot of people, as you've mentioned, are quite hesitant, saying as, you still might get the virus, but then all the NPIs are very important. I would like to finally ask you one question briefly. Your expectations for 2022 this year, and this is including vaccination targets, our testing, and achieving or getting to herd immunity?
All right. As it is now, as by yesterday, 58.5% of the world have received at least one dose of the vaccine. And 9.2 billion doses have been administered worldwide. Only 8.5 are in low-income countries. That is 8.5%. 99% of countries such as UAE have been vaccinated. Italy, about 87%. Russia, only 50%. That is why we are seeing individual, about 1,000 people dying. In Africa, Egypt has vaccinated 32%. Ethiopia, 7.9%. Nigeria, 4.9%. What I'm trying to say is that we have to reach that herd immunity. Herd immunity is when 80% of the population have been vaccinated. That is when we'll break this transmission and we'll control the pandemic. As we speak today, 675 cases, 675,000 deaths has been reported in US. It has surpassed the 1918 flu estimates, which means that the Omicron itself is highly pathogenic. It is spreading very fast. So I can see that COVID-19 pandemic can be defeated in 2022. Right, yes, it can be defeated. And how is it going to happen? That is when we reach that 80% herd immunity. And this can be achieved when countries work together, when they cooperate together, when we don't let down our guard.
Prof, I just wanted to quickly draw your attention to something that you mentioned, if I may. And that was, you talked about Nigeria's vaccination so far. I think you mentioned about 4.9%. 4.9. Okay. All right.
Yes,
thank you for that
clarification. The population has been vaccinated compared to 99 in UAE. And Egypt is the highest in Africa. That is why you see South Africa is leading when it comes to COVID-19. Perhaps because vaccination is not too strong there, and then because of the weather. And one thing I want to say is about Omicron is highly transmissible, and it has fueled the reinfection by 3%. Remember, I took the AstraZeneca vaccine that didn't contain Omicron. Is a new mutated vaccine. So the vaccine may not be fully, may not be, this Omicron will be resistant to the vaccine. So what we are saying is that people that are vaccinated, when I was tested, it was very, very faint. It means that I may not be able to spread the virus as much as somebody that is not vaccinated.
Professor.
When we don't spread the virus, the virus will not mutate and replicate. So vaccination is still very, very important. We need to take the booster dose. However, one thing is very, very important. Unequitable distribution, logistics, public skepticism about the COVID-19. We are expected to affect the COVID-19 activities. The most important thing is the fear mongering. People that are
Prof, I wish we had a lot more time, but we need to go now.
Yeah.
We'd like to really appreciate your time. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your experience with us and other issues on the spread of COVID-19. Many thanks.
You should just get vaccinated. Get vaccinated is important.